be a successful finance professional, it is very important to understand all of the core disciplines of finance. That's the first thing that the Masters in Finance brings. So we have core courses in corporate finance, investments, as well as financial analysis. In addition to that, finance is actually a very technical industry. And so it is important for professionals to have the opportunity to specialize. Through a wide portfolio of electives and the concentrations we offer, we also enable our students to become real specialists in quantitative finance, corporate finance, or investments.
When I came onto the course, I wanted to get a general education, which I had in the first term particularly. For example, I did accounting, which I'll probably never use, but it's a very good base for me for the rest of it. And as the year progressed, you can get more focus with your modules. And for example, I knew I'd be wanting to go towards more structured products in trading, and in fact Suleyman Basak's course on financial engineering was perfect for me. It had a lot of mathematical content that I was after. It was very demanding in that respect, but also you could see the real practical application of this as well.
When you take classes like fixed income or financial engineering, a lot of the concepts have actually been developed over the past 10-20 years. So a lot of the things are very new. A lot of the teaching is very cutting edge. A lot of the teaching is actually not found in textbooks.
So there's this class I'm taking with Professor Ramanupal. It's a great class in terms of international finance and what he teaches, but I think what really stands out in that class is that he goes beyond the academics and makes you think about why and what you want to do in life. And he throws in this extra bit at the end of the class, which are readings which are not related to the subject that you're doing or finance at all. And they come from fields as diverse as mountaineering and examples from there, and makes you really think about what is it that you really want. And I think that's a big value add. I think there's another program that I really liked, another class, which is fixed income, taught by Suleyman Basak. Awesome professor. His passion for teaching and communicating the students is it's wonderful. He's probably one of the funniest people in class that you'll probably run into ever, but thoroughly well versed with his topic, gets it across well, and great learning experience from that as well.
So when you walk into the classroom, there is this amazing heterogeneity in the intellectual atmosphere in the classroom. And that was one of my most pleasant surprises at LBS, that the amazing, remarkable quality of the students. When they are here to learn, they are very hungry, and they want to move to the next level. But what is amazing is how they love to be challenged.
The learning program itself is basically comprised of two parts. One, it has the lectures, the classwork, and then you have a lot of group work. I think for me, the lectures were very valuable because the professors are not just academics, but they also have a lot of working experience, which kind of mixes an academic experience with a practical experience, which is of course very valuable as a practitioner. And then secondly, the work groups allows you to discuss and actually go into the stuff with your fellow classmates rather than just sit there and absorb.
The learning experience, the Masters in Finance program is also very, very challenging, but at the end I can say very rewarding. We had 3 core courses at the beginning of the semester. The assignments were really tough and challenging, but then you have always your group members that you can count on, and they're always happy to help you out.
One learned the most by casework. So we would normally work in groups, and we would work on these cases together. These will be real-life problems that were faced by many managers. And following the case discussion, we would be also introduce the theory. So it was a very good mixture about theory and application. For example, in our advanced corporate finance class, it was a relatively small class, and I worked on certain project finance cases. And in my team, we had a guy that worked for UN, a guy that worked for previous project finance bank, a consultant, and a finance manager. So it was very interesting how each of us could bring their perspectives to solving a problem. And a team group work would be just like in normal life. You would need to assign the roles to the team, and everybody would need to work on the issue. So it's not just let's say, the expertise that you gain, but it also certain personal characteristics that one could use later for project management or other managerial roles.
In the class, we are put in an environment where we are not only allowed to make mistakes, but we're actually encouraged to make mistakes. One of my international finance professor always says that, you know, it's good to make mistakes in class because one, when you make a mistake, you're not likely to repeat it, and second, you know, it's much cheaper to make a mistake while you're in the classroom than to make a mistake in real life.
When I think back on the past year and taking part in the core programs, first, since it's a huge adjustment. I mean, most of us haven't been in school for a while, so I think the biggest highlight is adjusting to some very rigorous curriculum and some tough learning curves, because this is a very in-depth program, and just adjusting that work-study balance.
With the core courses and the Masters in Finance project, you have the opportunity to learn more about the future industry you want to work in. And I've chosen private equity in Africa as a subject, and it was an extremely good learning experience, and that helped me to cling the job afterwards.